Welcome to the third lecture in our preview. Before we start tackling Algebra I, today's lecture is over the Cartesian plane. I'm your host, Josh Schott. Let's get started. Today we're going to study the Cartesian plane, just a basic review. We're going to identify axes, coordinates, and quadrants, and then we're going to plot and locate points in two dimensions. All right, so let's get started here. The Cartesian plane extends in two directions. There are 3D versions of this, but for now we're just going to keep in two dimensions. We have the x-axis, which runs horizontally, and each of these are scaled. And you can scale it however you want. It just depends on whatever size plots you're going to point. And notice that the arrow only points in the positive direction. That way you know which way the plots are increasing. So the points are increasing as we go to the left. And the y-axis runs vertically, and the negative coordinates are below the x-axis, and the positive coordinates are above. And again, the arrow is pointing upward because that's which way the points are increasing. The origin is where these two axes intersect, and that is the coordinate point 0, 0. So each of these points have locations in the plane. So for instance, the first coordinate is x, so it tells us which way we run left and right. So if we were at -1 on the first number, we would be right here. Or if we were at -2 or -3 or -4. And then as we go to the right, +1, +2, +3, and so on. And then the y-coordinate tells us how far up and down from the x-axis. So this point here would be 1, 1, because we're 1 point to the right and 1 point up. And this point would be +1, -1, because the x-coordinate would be still positive, but we are going down. -1, -1 is over here. And then -1, +1 would be right here because we go negative in the x direction and positive in the right direction. The axes divide the plane into four quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's take a look. This is quadrant 1. Everything in quadrant 1 is positive, so both x and y are positive in the first quadrant. This is the second quadrant where the x is negative and the y is positive. This is the third quadrant where everything's negative. Both the negative x-coordinates are negative and the y-coordinates are negative. And this is the x-coordinate, fourth quadrant where the x-coordinate is positive and the y-coordinate is negative. So let's find some locations of some points here. I got 4 points here, and let's locate where they are. Let's start with A. A, if we come over 2 to the right and 2 up, so this is the coordinate 2, 2. Let's find B. B is 1, 2, 3, 4 positions to the left and 2 up, so that would be -4, 2. C is also to the left, so it's negative x-coordinate and negative y-coordinate. It only goes 1 down, so it's going to be -3, -1. And D is 2 to the right and 4 down, so that's going to be 2, -4. In this example, we're going to plot the following points, E, F, G, and H. And E is at 1, 4, F is at -1, 4. G is at -1, -4, and H is at 1, -4. So here's our Cartesian plane here. Here's E. E's at 1, 4. And -1, 4, it's going to be just the same height as E, but it's going to be over here, -1, 4. G is at -1, -4, so it's going to be down here. And H is at +1, -4. That makes a rectangle. So this has just been a brief lecture review on plotting coordinates in the Cartesian plane. In the next lecture, we're going to round and estimate sums and products. I look forward to seeing you then. And once again, I want to remind you, if you need math tutoring, we offer a great price and the comfort of your own home online. Check us out at facebook.com/mathspacetutoring. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next lecture.